It's Saturday again, as usual. Last Saturday, I did do quite a bit of filming and I edited quite a bit too. But um, as I was watching back myself, I hesitate to even upload anything because I just found myself slightly intolerable just because I sounded like Eeyore. I was so tired and basically spent a lot of the time complaining. Not that all the footage is like that, but I was like, I wouldn't want to watch this. So I'm 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 not sure if I'm gonna keep it and upload it, but I might just take some clips from it and then kind of just like start fresh. Um, just because you know, I was just so tired that I sounded, frankly, quite miserable. I'm feeling a lot better today. I got a good night's sleep. Um, Still super busy at work, but I was able to manage to do a life task or a quest, as you will, to get go to. I went to the eye doctor. No, just nothing bad. Just needed to get my eyes checked because it had been a number of years. I've worn glasses since like the second grade, so my vision's pretty terrible. But as I've gotten older, I have um, what they call progressive lenses, so I both can't see far away or up close. And I went in, everything checked out okay. The eye doctor told me that my prescription my distance is pretty much the same as it was as it is in these classes, but my reading had gotten a little worse. And when she said a little, she showed me like, look at this piece of paper, and try to read it. And then she put on the dummy glasses or whatever, and the difference was just like night and day. So I'm really excited to pick up my new glasses when they come in the next couple of weeks. In terms of crafting, I did do a bit last weekend, and then, as I said, I'll probably edit uh, a, a bit of that footage into this video, the parts where I'm not so cranky. And in terms of this weekend's um, plans, goals, thoughts about what I'd like to do. Um, Tour de Fleece is going on still. I can't fully participate like I would just because of time limitations, but I did spin half of a bet, and I'll probably spin the other half today, hopefully, and then maybe tomorrow I'll apply those together. I'm one of those people that likes to um, let the bobbins rest for a day or at least a night um, before plying if I can. Uh, I just find it a little bit easier when you're spinning your singles. I tend to spin pretty tightly. Um, Still, the aim is to have a balanced yarn, but I find that if I ply right after finishing a couple of bobbins, that it's a bit more of a wrestling match with the singles to get them to come together, and letting them rest, for me anyway, just helps it keep a little bit more organized. They're not so tightly um, springy, as it were. Uh, let's see. I do have the skinny scarf that I started a couple weeks ago. um, from that leftover yarn from the wider scarf that I made. I might try to spend some time on that this weekend. I feel like I'm pretty close to being done with that, um, just to get it off of that loom. And then um, there's the looming, no pun intended, pun intended, maybe. There's the looming warp of the bath towels that I had made the warp for on the warping board for the floor loom, and I need to warp that loom for those. I've been kind of dilly dallying on doing that. I'm not really sure why. I guess it's a bit of a time consuming process, much more than setting up the rigid heddle loom or anything else. And then yeah, I've got this Puddaloopy uh, sweater that I had started. It's going to be a Christmas gift. I've already made a mistake, which I'm working on fixing right now. It's easy to fix. I did the full ribbing around the bottom because it's a bottom up sweater, and then switch needle size, and you do increases. And the pattern said increased 6 stitches, and I increased every 6 stitches, which is way too much. And then when I looked at the stitch count you should end up with, I was like, oh, I should maybe read a little bit more carefully. So you need to slip back and take all of those out and redo it. Not a big deal. But yeah, it's a beautiful day. Not super hot yet. I don't think it's supposed to get super hot today. It was quite warm this past week or so, which kind of probably contributed to my feeling drained. But yeah, thanks for being here. Let's have a good weekend. This is Dolly. She is my late 90s third hand, I think, Shack mattress. I picked her up off of Facebook Marketplace. I think I got a pretty good deal. I had to drive to Arizona to pick her up, but I'm really happy with it. She got big hips, and she's quite chatty, so I thought it was a good name for her. So this is what I started spinning this for when I saw all my YouTube compatriots, I guess you could say, spinning for Tour de Fleece or prepping for Tour de Fleece, and I was like, dang, I want to spin, and it's been a minute. So I just pulled out this bat. It's a little better. I picked this up at a fiber festival. I didn't make this. I think that's the only thing I bought while I was there. Just kind of one of those like, well, I should get something. And it's a bat of random unknown origins. So scraps of things. I think there's some stellina in it, which I don't really like spinning, but at least it's not much. I just grabbed it to do a little bit default spin, split it in half. I got my wheel on double drive. That's all I really keep the matchless in. It can do both, but I prefer the double drive on this because it's a lot less futzing around with the tension. So here's the scarf I was telling you about earlier. I need to finish it. The edges on one side are kind of garbage, but I don't care. It's just using up the leftover yarn from my last project. But really, what I wanted to do is share goodies I got in the mail. Boom, yarn. So I bought this yarn to knit a sweater that is probably going to end up being a Christmas gift. The person already knows about it, so it's not really going to be any huge surprise. But this is called, let's see if I can get a good, Letalupi. There we go. It's Icelandic unspun wool from Iceland. And I'm going to be making a Icelandic style sweater. So with the round yoke color work. Got 3 different colors. This is red. I literally just picked the colors in the same yarn. That the pattern, I'll pop in a picture here. The pattern called for, because that's why I picked out. One of the reasons why it got picked out was because I really like the colors and the style of it. So yeah, boom. This will give me something to start on in the mornings during my Saturday, Sunday coffee knitting time. So we are now back in the present day. I've got my filled bobbin here. I've dragged Dolly out onto the patio. It is getting warmer. I thought it wasn't going to get that warm, but there's a bit of a breeze, so still not too bad. Um, how's the weather? How's your weather? I need to swap this bobbin out, so we're going to go ahead and do that. This might be a little awkward. So I'm dancing around the camera. These bobbins, I actually got them. They're 3D printed off of Etsy because when I bought the wheel was used, like I said, like third hand, the late 90s, and it only had one bobbin with it. Also only has one whirl, but I haven't really felt the need to get another one. And I needed more bobbins, so the shacked bobbins are really expensive. Like you can get plastic ones that are slightly cheaper. I think the wooden ones are like $50. But these I was able to get them for 15 and they work just fine. So let me go ahead and hold that and take it off. I think Dolly needs a little bit of oiling. She's been squeaking a little bit. Just kind of gently lift that off because I don't want to have to get the strings back on the wheel. And then take the whirl off and then put this back on. And I always want the fatter ends. So this one's more narrow circumference. This one's wider. The wider side is if you want to do the scotch tension, and then the narrow end is for the double drive. Put that back on. Put that back on. And then lift and gently get this back on here. There we go. The cool thing about this wheel, or one of the cool things about it, is it uses a lot of like bike parts. So it makes it pretty easy to switch bobbins out. And you can angle the tension. It just basically twist it right, lifts it up, twist it down. That the higher you go, the more tension you have on the band. You probably can't hear this, but another symptom of being an older wheel, there's a like a ball. It's not really a ball bearing. I'm not sure what you would call it, but the shaft on the flyer um, goes into a hole that's a ball, and so it can pivot. And I think this could probably use a replacement because it, that's what makes it chatty. Is it'll click as you turn it around. But anyway, got that done, bobbin, and let me go grab the other half of my fiber. So here is the other half of my bat. I'm going to split this into strips awkwardly. Just take a chunk off. That'll work. And see if I can get this started. No, I needed to. I'm not going to do it now, but I kind of want to change the leader that I have on here because this leader is a slippery piece of yarn that it tends to slide around on the bobbin when I'm trying to get it started, but usually I can get it going in a couple of tries. Thread this through here. Get some twists into this, see if I can get it going. So it doesn't want to go. Come on, Dolly. Help me out. There we go. Got a little loop on the end of my leader. That's kind of what you can't see. I think it's probably out of frame. Who knows? Just kind of tuck a chunk in there. We'll grab. All right, there we go. All right. So what I need to do now, going forward, and what I want to try to do. Oops, I should start on that hook. It's just kind of walk it along here so that I try to fill my bobbin evenly. Typically not 100% successful at that, just because I get spinning and mine starts to drift, and you're like, oh, I should probably change the hook. That's okay. Got a beer with me as required. What is this? Elysian Phase Dust Imperial Hazy IPA. Not sponsored, but hit me up. This is an 8.2, so pretty beefy. It's pretty good. Elysians are pretty like punchy, and they have like a bunch of different flavors or however you want to call it, but they also all kind of taste the same to me. Buster really wants to come outside, and I think that I will try to take him outside to hang out. But he also he tends to like get awkward. Even if I bring his bed out, he won't lay in it. He just kind of like awkwardly sits there and then wants to go back in. But we'll give it a try. So I brought him out. He took a wee, and now he's gonna want to go right back in. And let's get a cookie, as you do. Yep, here we go. Back inside. You want a cookie? You want a cookie? There you go. Goodbye. One interesting thing that I've found myself doing through this process of trying to record things and show the chair is that um, I have been maybe subconsciously trying to um, script myself in a certain regard. Not that I have any kind of script that I'm following, obviously, but I do tend to find myself self, self editing in the sense that, oh, start that over. It's too thin. It's too thin. I do tend to find myself self editing before I even begin to edit. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think part of it is logistical, so to speak, just because um, I don't have the latest and greatest, equipment. I'm essentially just using free space on Google Drive and my old, well, relatively older phone to record. There's nothing wrong with that. So I do try to just take quick little snippets, and um, even then I'll edit it down to bite-sized pieces. It does make the editing process a little bit easier. It's just it's an interesting dynamic just because I'm uh, sitting here literally talking to myself, but at the same time there is a delayed listening on the other end, and potential listening on the other end. So I just find myself kind of editing as I go. We are now on to Sunday, and this morning I got up, made my coffee, and did some knitting. And I think I'm actually going to wrap up the video. I've obviously didn't get as far as I had planned, which is usually the case. In terms of spinning, I managed to do the dishes I was avoiding, and I'm going to be cooking some Cajun chicken pasta for dinner. I have way more leftovers than I could possibly ever consume. So if you ever want to come over for dinner, let me know. Oop, got a little short bit here. I got too thin. It's been a pretty good weekend. I always wish they were longer, but thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. And I hope you have a good week. Thanks. Take care.